truth is finally here.
Hi, I'm Marty Runick, and welcome to Top Gun Paintless Dent Repair Training School. This video is the first in a series of short videos that will give you very direct and honest information about learning paintless dent repair. Let's get right to it. You probably watched lots of YouTube videos and been to lots of PDR training sites already, and you may be thinking, what makes this guy any different from all the others? Well, most of the paintless dent repair training sites or videos you've watched are either full of half-truths at best or outright lies. What makes me so different is I'm going to tell you the truth. And I've been telling the truth in detail about learning PDR on my training website and on Paintless Dent Repair Forum since 2004. So I'm not just some new guy on YouTube trying to sell you something. Now, you may not like what you're going to hear, but if you'll watch at least the first 3 videos in this series, you will get honest and direct information about what it really takes to learn and be successful in this art. Also, these videos are not flashy with lots of movements and gimmicks. I'm not going to entertain you. This subject is serious and I'm going to treat it seriously. No hype, no bull, just the facts. But first, I do need to explain and demonstrate what this process is to get you familiar with some of the tools and terms we'll be using. I'll also be doing a quick demonstration of a dent removal near the end of this video. Paintless dent repair, or PDR as we call it, is a process that removes small to large dents in any vehicle, usually by massaging them out from the back of the panel with specialized tools. Now, this is done without in any way harming the factory paint if it's done correctly. And the dent shouldn't just look better or different after the repair. It should be gone, like it never happened. Let me quickly show you some of the tools and methods we use in PDR. All right, this is one of the setups we would use to do a typical door dent. This is our starter reflection board. It puts a nice white stripe on our panel. Let us see our tool tip very accurately and check on the progress of our dent as we're removing it. And that board that's about 3-4 feet back is our finishing reflection. And we'll use that when we're ready to put the last few pushes in the dent to make it perfect. Now, this metal plate here is a window guard. This keeps us from damaging our window. And this paint object here is a window wedge that gives us a little bit of a gap between this window guard and our panel so that we can take our door tool, put it down that gap, find our tool tip, and push like that to remove our dent. Now, if you could have X-ray vision, if you could see through this panel, it would look like that. We'd be leveraging off the heel of that tool against the window guard, and we'd be pushing the dent out with the tip of our tool, just like that. All right, this is one example of how we might set up for light to moderate hail on a hood. We don't need a starter reflection for this, just our 2 finishing reflections we have set up like that. We're going to leverage off this device through this hole. We're going to take our tool, stick it through the hole. My finger's going to be on the tip of the tool, and I'm going to push with my handle hand, just like that, to remove any dents. Looks too easy, huh?
Now, before I demonstrate how to properly fix a dent, I wanted to show you an example of bad PDR work. This is what we call a cookie because the really bad ones look like someone glued a cookie to the panel. This repair looks rough in the reflection you see here, but as we go into the bright sunlight, you'll notice it appears to look better. And this is why most techs make sure their work is parked into the sun when the customer first sees it. Notice the cookie is much harder to see now? And this isn't even a bad one. It's definitely fixable for a skilled tech. This is something we teach in the beginning PDR class because there are so many bad repairs like this now thanks to the high number of hack techs we have today. But the way it looks now is nothing compared to how bad it will look under garage lights when the customer sees it at home. Let's get this panel in the garage and see what this repair really looks like. Okay, we're in the garage now, and that white light bar you see is a reflection from an overhead garage light like you have in your garage. This reflection shows detail very well, and most quality PDR techs use a similar reflection to make sure the repairs look great. Some of these repairs are so bad the paint is actually cracked and has brush-touched paint inside it. Like I said, this isn't a bad one. It's easily fixable by a skilled tech. This is typical of wholesale quality work at many car lots. If you've seen PDR done, you've probably seen lots of these so-called repairs. Well, this is not paintless dent repair. The factory paint on this vehicle has been damaged and will only look worse over time. You won't get many loyal customers or referrals doing this kind of work. Now let's do a quick demonstration of PDR done the right way. This is a typical golf ball sized round dent in a hood panel. I put a quarter next to it so you have something to compare the size with. The reflection you see here is from a standard finishing reflection like those two lights you saw in that hail setup a couple minutes ago. Now this reflection is great for seeing detail to finish a dent with, but it doesn't show us the detail we need to see inside the dent so we can gather up metal with our tool right on the impact point of the dent. Now this is our starter reflection, like the one you saw in that door setup a few minutes ago. Notice how small the dent looks now? Well, that's okay, because this reflection doesn't show us the real size of the dent like the finishing reflection did, but it will show us lots of detail right on the impact point of the dent. This is the reflection that will make us the most money because it helps us make the first few pushes just right, and lets us finish our dent much faster than we could without it. The reflection is showing our impact point is just left of center on this dent. Okay, let's fix this dent. I'm going to push a bit slower than I normally would because I want you to see what's going on inside this dent as clearly as possible as I push. We hit the impact point of our dent, also called the sweet spot or money spot, whatever you want to call it. And as you can see, the dent's getting much smaller. I'm letting the reflection show me where to push next, and as long as I have my starter board adjusted right, I always know where to push next and how hard to push. Notice how we aren't making any over pushes or pushing lots of metal up with our tool tip. We're gathering up the metal as well as pushing it up. What we're doing is kind of like if you pushed your open bare hand flat into your stomach and then made a fist. Go ahead and try it. When you made the fist, did you notice how much of your shirt went into your fist and how tight your shirt is around you now? Well, that's kind of the same thing we're doing here to the impact point of our dent. Of course, we aren't gathering up as much metal as you did with your shirt and fist, but you get the idea. So we aren't just pushing up the metal inside the dent with our tool, we're gathering it up and tightening it up as well. Okay, we're looking at our finishing reflection again. The dent is almost finished now, even though we can still see some of it. All we have to do is make some cleanup pushes. Notice the dent's looking better with every push. The dent should never look worse before it looks better. Over pushes or inaccurate pushes only waste time and hurt the dent. I'm also making sure to push parallel with my reflection to avoid making any cornrows when I cross-check. Panning the dent with a camera shows it looks great and ready to sell. As always, no tap downs were used during this repair, and we should very seldom, if ever, have to use them on dents like these. Accurate pushes with no over pushes and gathering, not pushing the stretched metal in the impact point, are the keys to a clean, quick repair.
Well, you should now have a very basic idea of part of the PDR process and some of the terminology we use. Now in the next two videos, Can I Learn PDR and Should I Learn PDR? I'll help you decide if paintless dent repair is right for you. These two videos are really a must-watch, and they'll probably surprise you. They might even shock you. And remember now, you'll be watching these videos to get the whole truth about learning paintless dent repair. So don't get depressed or mad or come looking for me if you discover that PDR isn't a good fit for you. Just realize you've saved yourself a lot of money and wasted time. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.